The discovery happened purely by accident. I was fixing the Wi-Fi router in our bedroom when I noticed a small camera hidden behind a picture frame. Curiosity pulled at me, and when I connected it to my laptop, my blood ran cold. There they were, my wife and my brother, unmistakably intimate, unaware of the world, and completely certain no one would ever find out. Shock faded into a slow-burning fury. I didn't confront them, didn't send angry messages, didn't call anyone. Instead, I made a plan. Sunday lunch was always at her parents' house. Everyone would be there. Perfect. I copied the footage onto a USB drive, labeling it as a simple family video compilation. My mind felt calm, almost detached. I wanted them to experience the same helplessness, the same humiliation that flooded me when I saw the betrayal. By the time Sunday arrived, I was disturbingly composed. Her father stood outside smiling, chatting with neighbors, while my brother was already inside, joking with his wife. The table was set, the smell of roast chicken and baked potatoes filling the house. My wife suspected nothing. I kept the USB hidden in my pocket, watching every laugh, every smile. Occasionally, our eyes met across the table, and she shifted uncomfortably, unsure why. The calm before the storm hung heavy in the air. I waited until everyone was seated, the food served, and her father was midway through a story about his golf game. Then, casually, I said, "I found something on my computer last night. Thought you all might want to see it." No one imagined what was coming. I plugged the USB into the television and scrolled through harmless family videos first. Birthdays, holidays, familiar memories. Nothing suspicious, easing everyone into a false sense of normalcy. Light laughter filled the room. Then, without comment, I clicked on the hidden folder. The screen changed, revealing what they believed would stay unseen. My wife and my brother, caught in the most intimate and undeniable acts of betrayal. The laughter died instantly. Her father's hand froze, fork suspended halfway to his mouth. My brother's wife went pale in seconds. I said nothing. I watched as the truth hit them in real time. No shouting, no accusations, just raw, undeniable reality playing in high definition for all to see. The tension was suffocating. Her father reacted first, jumping to his feet, the chair scraping loudly, his eyes wide with rage. "What is this?" he shouted, his voice breaking. Everyone turned toward him, shock etched across every face. My wife tried to speak, but no sound came. My brother's wife gasped, stepping back with her hand over her mouth. My brother slumped in his chair, disbelief written clearly across his face. For a moment, no one moved, struggling to process the betrayal. The room shifted from a warm family gathering into a storm of anger, pain, and disbelief. I remained seated, calm, letting the truth do its work. No words were needed. The footage said everything. My wife finally whispered, trembling, It's not what you think." Even she knew how empty the lie sounded. I leaned back, steady and cold. "Then explain," I said quietly, letting the silence stretch. Her father's hand shook as he pointed at my brother, shouting, "How could you betray your own family like this?" My brother stammered, flustered, unable to form a single word that could erase what everyone had just seen. My brother's wife had tears streaming down her face, shaking her head, unable to understand what she was seeing. Every eye in the room was fixed on them now, waiting for an explanation that would never come. The weight of the betrayal was crushing. I didn't need to shout or dramatize anything. The silence, the footage, and the stunned reactions of family members carried all the meaning. Her father's voice rose, trembling with rage, each word slicing through the room like a blade. "I raised you better than this, both of you." He paced back and forth, pointing first at my brother, then at my wife. His face burned red. My brother's wife collapsed onto the couch, sobbing, clutching her husband's hand, yet refusing to look at him. My wife finally sat down, shocked, frozen, unable to speak or move. I let her stare, knowing there was nothing she could say to undo what everyone had just witnessed. Friends and extended family who were visiting that day stood clustered in the doorway, watching the scene unravel, struggling to process the betrayal. The afternoon had turned into a real-life courtroom drama. No words could repair the trust destroyed in those few minutes of footage on the television. I stood calmly and addressed the room. "You've all just seen the truth," I said. I didn't need private confrontations, because they believed no one would ever find out. Now everyone knew. My words were measured, sharp, and cold. My wife's father sank into his chair, rubbing his face. My brother's wife remained silent, crying softly. My brother couldn't meet my eyes, shame written across his face. And my wife finally crumpled, covering her face, realizing her smugness, her secrecy, her deception. All of it had been exposed to everyone who mattered. The room felt quiet, heavy with tension. I felt a strange relief, almost a grim satisfaction, knowing justice in its harsh form had arrived. Their lies had collided with reality, leaving no escape. Guests began to leave slowly, whispering among themselves, exchanging stunned looks. Some avoided my wife's gaze completely. Others looked at me with a mix of respect and unease. Her father refused to speak to her, shaking his head repeatedly, muttering about betrayal. My brother's wife repulled herself in silence, still refusing to look at her husband. My brother made no attempt to explain. Nothing he could say would undo the humiliation. I remained seated, calm, and allowing the aftermath to settle like dust after an explosion. They believed secrecy would shield them. It didn't. They thought loyalty could be broken without consequence. But family lunches aren't private, and the hidden camera had delivered its final judgment. Everyone had seen what I discovered.
And now everyone knew. There would be no forgiveness, only truth. By day end, the house felt hollow, even though everyone was still there. The laughter, warmth, and conversation that once filled Sunday lunches were replaced by whispers, shame, and quiet tears. Her father refused to address my wife at all. My brother's wife withdrew into the kitchen, crying softly. My brother avoided me, avoiding any acknowledgement of the betrayal. And my wife sat pale and trembling, hands covering her face, finally grasping the magnitude of what she had done and how openly it had been revealed. I didn't gloat. I didn't celebrate. I simply watched the consequences unfold, letting them speak louder than any words ever could. And as the room settled into stunned silence, I understood that justice had arrived in its purest form, undeniable, shocking, and permanent.